whether we should amend the Government Proceedings Act and expose the government to the remedy of execution by way of attachment. Today, what we do is, if you have judgment against the government, you have to go through the whole process of mandamus, notices to show cause, and to some extent, even where PSs are summoned to court to explain why they are not satisfying judgments, they simply don't appear. Warrants of arrest are issued against them, and the Inspector General of Police will simply not execute it. It's like they are telling the court, what are you going to do if we do not satisfy the judgment? It is the high time we actually woke up to say and stand with Kenyans.
Now you see, the Honorable Murugara, you have debated. You have the opportunity to go before the committee. Yes. You are supposed to make some few comments.
Thank you.
Not more than a minute, really.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
You have already finished yours.
Just trying to say, as I conclude, it is the high time we actually, as a House, stood up with Kenyans so that their judgments against the government are satisfied. And this petition is actually timeless, and we should help this company recover its money. Thank you very much.
Honorable Member for Nandi Hills.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support that petition, and I want to say that it is very unfortunate, Mr. Speaker, that some government officials don't respect the rule of law. It is important to treat the court orders with respect. Court orders are not opinions or suggestions. They are court orders in itself, and it should demand every state officer who has sworn, who has taken an oath of office to respect the rule of law. Mr. Speaker, it is very unfortunate that some investors are trying to support government in some cases, but the government is not in itself supporting them. And that is the reason why in Africa, or even Kenya, we are failing. Because unless there is law and order, there is no investor that can invest, because the confidence will be lost. The reason why we are not same as Dubai or many other countries which are now first world with no resources. They have no tourism. I mean, they have no wildlife to attract tourism. The tourism that is there is artificial because there is good leadership, there is law and order, and that is the only thing that we need to bring on board. If we mean...
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Then we go to Honorable Majimbo Kalasinga.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, please relax. I'll give quite a number of members because I think this is the only petition we have this morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if this trend should be capped and be controlled, Mr. Speaker. If we allow this movement around, Mr. Speaker, and disturbing very good companies that have won contracts and performed, Mr. Speaker, we should discourage investors in this country. I believe, Mr. Speaker, that this trend, Mr. Speaker, is leading to some banks auctioning very good companies that have done business with the government. Mr. Speaker, I support this petition because for once, it's going to bring sanity, Mr. Speaker. Even not only national governments, Mr. Speaker, even some county governments, Mr. Speaker, it has the same problems, and therefore, Mr. Speaker, this petition is quite in order before us.
Okay. Honorable Sankok.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, this House must rise to the occasion and support Kenyans investors, Honorable Speaker. We cannot allow the government to steal from Jack Bone. We cannot allow the government to steal from COVID-19 dying patients, Honorable Speaker, in the name of COVID billionaires, and allow the same government to kill local business, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, these businesses are employing a lot of Kenyans. They are paying a lot of taxes, Honorable Speaker. And now the government does not even obey court orders when they are supposed to pay this equipped company agencies limited, Honorable Speaker, its dues. We as a House must rise and force the government to pay that in totality, the 80 billion that is owed to the company, Honorable Speaker. These companies have confidence in Kenya, unlike other companies or other individuals who take our money into offshore accounts, Honorable Speaker. They have decided to invest in this country, Honorable Speaker. And if they have decided to invest in this country, they are paying taxes, they are employing Kenyans. Okay. What is the offshore accounts doing to Kenyans? They are not paying taxes, they are not employing Kenyans, Honorable Speaker. their government must pay.
Your minute is gone. Honorable Member for Kiminini.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, I want to empathize with the equipped agencies, Mr. Speaker. It's very, very unfortunate. Article 10 of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, outlines the national values and principles of governance. And under A, there's rule of law. The government is obligated to obey court orders, Mr. Speaker. And we are calling upon the relevant minister, Mr. Speaker, to move with speed and settle this amount to these equipped agencies. And Mr. Speaker, as you committed it to the relevant committee, it is important, Mr. Speaker, that the Committee of Budget should also get involved in this matter so that the matter can be sorted out amicably. In this country, we still have problems with malaria. It is still #1 killer, particularly in pregnancy and children under 5 years. And equipped agencies, Mr. Speaker, it has been demonstrated, he had supplied the goods and they were given satisfaction in terms of the specification. So it is important that the government of Kenya must move with speed, Mr. Speaker. If it were KEMSA billionaires, we already told they were being paid, and it was just the other day, Mr. Speaker. So why is it that equipped agencies, which did business 1995 up to now, it has not been settled? We want this matter to be solved once and for all, Mr. Speaker, and the Committee of Health and the Committee of Budget move with speed, and we need that report on the floor of the House. I thank you.
Okay, Honorable Mwadime.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support the petition. Mr. Speaker, actually, this is the time round. We should bring sanity to such kind of complaints. You know, self-interest, because just as Kimilili MP has said, KEMSA the other day of paid our own money. But this investor from 1997, it's a long time. Mr. Speaker, and such kind of complaints, there are many. It's high time we bring sanity to such kind of petitions. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Honorable Pukose.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, listening to the petitioner since 1995 and having gone through the court process, the High Court, the Court of Appeal, having upheld that he supplied lawfully to the Ministry of Health, I think it is very unfair to the government to dilly-dally with paying equipped agencies. Honorable Speaker, we've seen recently people supplying KEMSA, and they are paid promptly. And the same people end up even transferring that money to either Panama or the British Islands. Mr. Speaker, I think this government is an embarrassment. It should take responsibility and pay equip. Honorable Speaker, I think when the committee is making the report, we would want that the Ministry of Health in its items budget before in the next approval should have money for equipped agencies. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, Honorable Wangwe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support that petition, but I want to seek that we have an approach in terms of policy on two issues. One, the issue of court orders, Honorable Speaker. As the committee investigates, let also the Committee on Budget and Committee on Finance jointly come up with a policy on how to pay court orders which are already pending before various committees, various ministries. Also, the issue of pending bills, Honorable Speaker, let it be a policy. Let's also have a document to at least suggest how are we going to pay all pending bills. When this is just one who has gone to court, but there are so many, Honorable Speaker, some have already died, some have been auctioned, and yet they supply the government. So it's important we have a policy on that matter. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
As I give other members, I think the last two members have contributed in in a line that is acceptable, where they are asking the specific committee to add a few things to their investigation. Some members here are actually speaking directly as if we are already in the Committee of Health. So as I give you an opportunity, honorable members, please, let's see what we can do to add value to
2021. That is 27 years, Mr. Speaker, moving closer to 30 years. And Mr. Speaker, equip agencies. I acted for this institution, Mr. Speaker, when I was practicing law. And Mr. Speaker, when I was chairing the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, this issue of pending bills, Mr. Speaker, has really been a major discussion we had as a committee. And I think we need to look at this thing nationally. Mr. Speaker, Kenyans are really suffering. As we address the equipped agency's claim, Mr. Speaker, it is important for, and I even propose the Solicitor General, Mr. Speaker, should be called upon to come before this committee and be able to share the billions and billions. Mr. Speaker, from where I sit now, I think Kenyans are holding close to 1.3 trillion Kenya shillings, Mr. Speaker. So it is a bigger issue. This is just one. And I want to support the proposal that, Mr. Speaker, the Budget Committee, the one for Justice, and even the one for should be able, Mr. Speaker, to come together and address this issue. Mr. Speaker, finally, the President, for many occasions, has been making public announcements that there is need to settle in public and pending bills. But, Mr. Speaker, it is a declaration that has never been complied with. It is important, Mr. Speaker, the government speaks and acts in terms of those issues they have agreed to do. So, Mr. Speaker, I support the petition, and I want to propose that equipped agencies be paid the 80-something billion. Mr. Speaker, look at even the situation where
that should be enough, Honorable.
Where, Mr. Speaker, they should have been able to save government.
Okay, that is okay. Honorable Atandi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to join my colleagues in supporting this petition. And Honorable Speaker, I want to say that when you supply government and the government fails to pay you, and you seek for justice in court, and again in court you win, and again the government fails to pay you, I think that is really like murder. You have been murdered by your government. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that it is immoral, it is bad, it is criminal for government to fail to pay a supplier for over 25 years. I want to say that this particular matter, I'm aware of it because my colleague spoke to me about it. And I want to say that this House must reign on ministries in the area of pending bills.
Okay.
Because Honorable,
you are finalized, so let's go to the member for Imenti South, Honorable Gaduri. Order, Honorable Dawood. I know there are many Imentis, but the one I've given opportunities, the Honorable Gaduri.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. But before I execute my support, I want to really, I'm really surprised because the member, Honorable Atandi Singh, has been briefed about this petition by colleagues in this House. So is it predetermined or it's something which has come through the back door and members are already aware of this petition, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, I think that is not in order as a House. It's not in order to bring petitions which are already determined by members. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that the Committee on Health, Mr. Speaker.
Let's stop there, Honorable Member for Imenti.
Now let me make my comment.
You're having a problem with the source of information that Atandi gets. Really, as far as I'm concerned, that has nothing to do with the committee. Colleagues can discuss amongst themselves. I mean, the matter is here. I don't think there's anything untoward on that direction. So you should have gone to your comments. Now you see, you must choose sometimes whether you want to do the intervention or the other. But I give you your time anyway. But for members, please contribute.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that there must be a reason why this contract was not paid. And I will request the Committee on Health to really look into these details. How is the contractual arrangement? How was the procurement done? There must be a reason why the ministry officials did not pay. There are so many other contracts, especially the lease equipments, which were clandestinely awarded some people, and still the Treasury is really suffering, struggling to pay those tenders, Mr. Speaker. So the committee should do their work thoroughly. They should also summon the AG, if possible, so that they can really determine the real position of this matter.
So then, of course, I go to the Honorable Lago Luoch.
Mr. Speaker, is Olago Aloch. Aloch is another one. Mr. Speaker, I hear members...
I am extremely sorry, Senior. The problem is from our orientation, we have always been brought up to imagine that when you start with an A, it is the other gender. That is my small problem, but if you say it is Aloch, I am happy with it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to assure you, Mr. Speaker, that I am not the other gender. Mr. Speaker, I hear members lamenting about what needs to be done. But I want to say this. As long as we have the Government Proceedings Act in the way it is in Kenya, our ministries will continue with impunity to disregard court judgments, whether they come from the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeal or the High Court. Because in other countries where there are similar provisions, Mr. Speaker, those governments honor court judgments and they pay. In Kenya, they do not. Mr. Speaker, in the 10th Parliament, I brought amendments to the Government Proceedings Act. It was what I thought was very wise to do. But the AG had a long meeting with me, 3 meetings in fact, and pleaded that if those amendments were approved by the House, then the government would be bankrupted. I slowed down. I think the time has now come for this House, or one of us, I will do it myself if need be, look at the Government Proceedings Act once again and amend it in a way that can offer some protection to the ministries, but at the same time give Kenyans who have court judgments the capacity to attach government assets if necessary. Mr. Speaker, I want to urge my colleagues this morning that as we leave this in the hands of the Health Committee, let the Budget Committee look at it, also our committee, Justice and Legal Affairs, to look at it and find out if it is possible to amend that act.
Okay. Dr. Teglatum.
Honorable Speaker, I stand to support this petition. The contractor was gave malarial and malarial equipment in 1995 at 1 billion. Honorable Speaker, in 2021, it is 80 billion. The government should pay because the High Court awarded the contractor to be paid in 2011. So this money is accruing an interest of 18% every year. The President gave a directive that all pending bills should be paid. Even in the counties, Honorable Speaker, there should be prompt payment, and the counties should receive their money because there are quite a number of contractors who have taken loans in our counties, and Honorable Speaker, they are stressed because their plots, their chambers are being sold because the government uses the people to provide, to keep, but they are not being paid. Honorable Speaker, let this person be paid the 15 billion. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable Adagala Kahai. Order. Who is this? Take your seat. Yes. Who is that?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, also for giving me this chance also to talk on this petition. I want to support it, Mr. Speaker, sir. Our people are suffering because of tenders not being paid on time, and this is extending even up to counties whereby pending bills is a big problem, and also not following court orders. We've had several court orders, both county government and the national governments, that are not being followed. This one, Mr. Speaker, sir, it's actually discouraging investors from investing in this country. If somebody can supply that amount of money to the government, and it takes almost 30 years, he has not been paid, what do you expect? Surely, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay.
The Minister of Health, Budget Committee and Health.
That's okay now. Maybe last, Honorable Kiarie. I'm trying now to. I think we have taken enough time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I rise to boldly say that this House can do more than just read from the Book of Lamentations, Mr. Speaker. My bills to this petition are that as the committee is prosecuting this matter, the committee should also look for provisions in law that we should amend, or new laws that we should create, so that we are able to set personal culpability on individuals, because the government is a faceless agency. People get away with this kind of stuff because government is not an individual. If a person is culpable personally, they will take it upon themselves to make sure that suppliers are paid, Mr. Speaker.
Okay.
The case that we are looking at today, Mr. Speaker, is also an issue of money. This parliament, in the next budget, can actually interrogate all pending bills and set aside monies to pay these pending bills that we have been mourning about, Mr. Speaker.
All right.
In the matter that is at hand, Mr. Speaker, we realize that this company is suffering double injustice, Mr. Speaker.
That is the end of it, so let's go to the next order. Order, members. Order. I hear many members want to have one more. So I'm going to give 4 members who will speak for 30 seconds each. 30 seconds each, randomly, because there are still over 15 other interests. So let's start with the Honorable Kilonzo.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If you want to die slowly, supply national government. If you want to die quickly, supply the county government, Mr. Speaker. I support this petition, Mr. Speaker, and request that the committee come with recommendations on what we need to change under law, so that when you supply government or county governments, you get paid. Thank you.
Honorable, I'm having a problem because there are quite a number of members who have placed both directions. Now, I do not know. Honorable Agutu Abel.
Mr. Speaker, I stand to support this petition. And I will also request the committee to investigate on whether there have been previous budget allocations for the specific pending bill. And also, Mr. Speaker, I also would like to say that it's unfortunate to have a government which is meant to create jobs, that's killing jobs, a government that is supposed to support the weak, that's killing even the strong. Mr. Speaker, I support this.
Honorable Mkawale Kamoti, Honorable Kamoti.
Asante Bwana Spika, hii ni hoja muhimu na imefika wakati wake. Lazima serikali iwajibike, isifilisishe wananchi wake. Lazima serikali za kaunti pia ziwajibike. Watu wanachukua mikopo, vitu vyao vinanadiwa, baadaye hawalipwi na tunakuwa serikali ndio inafilisisha watu wake. Hii ni mbaya. Serikali lazima ijipange, kabla hawajafanyiwa kazi wawe na pesa. Waombe mfano wa CDF, pesa iweko ndio kazi ifanyike, sio watoe kazi na pesa hawana.
Honorable Hassan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to support the petition. I think it is criminal. It is an abuse of power, and it is killing our entrepreneurial skills and companies. And I think the government should really look at this thing seriously, and the committee should look at it. Why do they pay international criminals like Anglo Leasing and others? And why do they want to kill our local companies and our local agents? Please, the committee, take this up very seriously and make sure that these companies are paid on time.
Thank you. Next order. Next order. Sorry, members, those who have not spoken, sorry.
Order number 5, papers.
Under this particular order, we have the majority whip.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the leader of the majority party, Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, October 6th, 2021, this morning sitting. 1. Annual report and financial statements of the Power of Mercy Advisory Committee for the financial year 2020-2021 from the Office of the Attorney General and Department of Justice. 2. The annual report for the financial year 2020-2021 from the Public Service Commission. 3. reports of the Auditor General and financial statements.
Members, please, members who are leaving, kindly give time to the members here. There are quite a number of very serious matters to be transacted this morning. Putting of the questions of 2 bills and the sugar bill.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. 3, reports of the Auditor General and financial statements in respect of the following constituencies. For the financial year, for the year ended 30th June 2019, and the certificates therein: A, Msambweni; B, Kisauni; C, Mbeere North; D, Igembe Central; E, Mwea; F, Isiolo South; and G, Likoni. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Under this particular one, we will start with questions, and starting off is the Honorable Josephat Kabeabea, member for Tigania East.
Thank you, Speaker. I stand to ask question number 387 of 2021, and it is in regard to biting drought situation, which has made very many families to stay without food, and many school children not able to learn because of starvation. So I ask,
now,
what measures has the ministry put?
And any other member who wants to ask a question, please ask the question. The rest, you can do it at the committee, the other issues. So proceed to the question straight, Honorable Kabeabea.
Noted, Honorable Speaker. What measures has the ministry put in place to ensure that the residents living in arid and semi-arid areas of Tigania East constituency, who are in the verge of starvation due to the ongoing drought, are urgently supplied with relief food and water? Thank you, Speaker.
Next is the member for Westlands, Honorable Anyonyi. Sorry, that one is to be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Administration, National Security. So go to the next one. That's by Honorable Anyonyi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I ask question number 392 of 2021 to the Cabinet Secretary of Education, Mr. Speaker. Question number 1, could the Cabinet Secretary provide details of all agreements, contracts, or memoranda entered into with book publishers for the distribution and supply of textbooks to secondary and primary schools, as well as schedules of payments so far made to each publisher with respect to the financial year 2019-2020 and the current financial year. Question number 2, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the criteria informing the frequency of supply of textbooks to a particular secondary school or primary school? Question 3, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the ministry's policy regarding choice of a particular textbook, its usage in schools, editorial, and review by independent education experts? And question number 4, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a schedule of expenditure for the Kenya shillings 22,000 per secondary school student capitation funds, enumerating the amounts directly disbursed to each school per constituency and a percentage set aside for textbooks and learning material per student? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. That will be committed to the Departmental Committee on Education. Next is the member, is nominee 001, the Honorable David Olesanko.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And I rise to ask question 400 of 2021 And this question is directed to the Cabinet Secretary for Interior, Coordination of National Government. Could the Cabinet Secretary provide specific details of the parcel of land located in Laikipia County, which he claimed is owned by the Deputy President during his appearance before the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security on 1st September 2021, including the land reference number, the size, the date of acquisition, and the previous ownership. A buffoon can lie anywhere else, but we cannot allow him to lie in this honorable house under the Hansard.
Honorable Sankok,
We cannot.
Honorable
No,
Sankok,
no, no.
Honorable Sankok, you know that one you will say all you have to say at the committee level. So that one is to be replied before the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. Next is the member for Dagoretti South, the Honorable KJ Kiarie.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I rise to ask question number 401 of 2021. And I want to direct this question to the Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Social Protection. Mr. Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary confirm whether WPP Scan Group Company PLC, which is a full-service creative transformation company engaged in marketing, communication, brand stewardship, media investment management, and consumer research, complies with labor laws and regulations in its operations? 2, Mr. Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary explain why the company has, particularly since the onset of COVID pandemic, been replacing majority of Kenya's top creative minds and staff and replacing them with foreign personnel, most who are coming from employment agencies, for example, mystic monks? And could he undertake to take action, whether legal or administrative, against the company for the injustices against the affected Kenyan personnel? 3, Mr. Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary explain why the said publicly listed company has been allowed to fraudulently engage and retain foreigners for decades to undertake work that can effectively be handled by Kenyan professionals, while at the same time placing its local staff under strenuous and inhuman working conditions, including working overnight without due compensation? Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
That one will be committed to the Departmental Committee on Labor and Social Services, and that's where it will be replied to. And honorable members, if members insist on giving some off-cuff, utterances and remarks, we might actually change the mode of asking questions, so that you'll be asking a question by stating that you're asking a question as is in the order paper. So members, please, when we give you an opportunity, just stick to what you have written. If you want to write more, please, you have time to do that. So please, let's be very disciplined on that. Let's have the member for Kinango, the Honorable Tayari. I'm sure the Scout KJ has heard that clearly. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask question 402 of 2021, directed to the Cabinet Secretary for Energy. 1, could the Cabinet Secretary explain why defective transformers and damaged electricity poles in various areas of Kinango constituency are yet to be replaced, despite the numerous calls to have them replaced? 2, when will the said transformers and electricity poles be replaced to avoid perennial interruptions of power in the constituency? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Energy. Now we go to the next order.
Order number 8, the Kenya Deposit Insurance Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 43 of 2020, second reading, question to be put.
Let me confirm, and can I get confirmation? Do you have enough? Just come. I'm informed that we have the required numbers. Order. Order. So then I put the question, which is that the Kenya Deposits Insurance Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 43 of 2020, be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Kenya Deposit Insurance Act and for connected purposes.
Order, members. Order. 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 Take your seat, please. Have you called the order?
Order number 9, the Kenya Food and Drugs Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 31 of 2019, second reading. A question to be put.
I can still confirm that we still have the numbers with us, so therefore I put the question, which is that the Kenya Food and Drugs Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 31 of 2019, be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to establish the Kenya Food and Drugs Authority to provide for the regulation and management of food, drugs, and chemical substances, to provide for the regulation of medical devices and other health technologies, to give effect to the principles and objects of devolved government in food safety, regulation, and for connected purposes.
Next order. Next order.
Order number 10, Committee of the Wool House.
Okay.
I heard you from far, though you're not on record. Give me the mic. Not give me the mic.
It was me, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Kaluma.
Honorable Speaker, I was confirming or musing that you are as elegant as Ambassador Urie Rogomanduli, whom we are sending off. And we are grateful for that elegance, both in body and in mind, more so in mind. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well, honourable members. We are now, thank you for the comments. Now we're on the Committee of the Whole House, honourable members, and we are going to debate on the Sugar Bill, National Assembly Bill number 60 of 2019.
Clause 3.
I propose the question that Clause 3 be part of the bill. Honourable members, we have no amendment to Clause 3, and I put the question that Clause 3 be part of the bill. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? And as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
I propose the question which is that Clause 4 be part of the bill. Members, we have an amendment to the bill. Can we have the chairperson move the amendment proposed? The chairperson.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Madam Speaker. Chair, sorry. I beg to propose as it is on the order paper. Clause 4, amendment of Clause 4, as it is on the order paper. Justification. The amendment seeks to enhance the function of the board, to enhance monitoring and compliance, and to enhance linkages with other stakeholders in the sector. And then clause 4, there's the first clause 4. Then there is clause 4A. Are we okay?
You're on clause 4. The Honorable Chairperson, please move your amendment. The members will take it up.
Clause 4.
Yes.
Member, it's on page 1218. On the order paper. Below. Below. On the order paper. Are we together? No, in fact, sorry.
Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Chair.
Yes.
I could hear Millie from far. New clauses are moved at a different points. Please just move clause 4, the one that has an amendment. The new clauses, we usually do it.
Thank you. Justification for clause
4.
Clause 4. That clause 4 of the bill be amended as subclause 2. Is that what you are talking about?
As in the order paper,
Yes,
Honorable
as in the order paper.
Chairperson.
Are we together?
Chair, just move your.
So I continue, eh?
Just move clause 4, the amendments that you have, the proposed amendments. Just proposed amendments to clause 4.
As it is on the other paper.
As it
that
is
clause
on the
4
other paper.
of the bill be amended in subclause 2 by inserting the following new paragraphs immediately after paragraph M. MA, enforce and monitor compliance with standards along the sugar value chain. Then MB, facilitate value addition and product diversification in the sugar subsector. MC, formulate and implement the strategic plan for sugar subsector at least once every 5 years. And MD, formulate guidance on an efficient and economic transportation of sugar. Yes, then the justification. Is that okay? See, Meisha.
Honorable Chair, you just need to give justification of the same. You're doing very well.
Okay, sorry.
Just do justification.
No, I have not even, I haven't finished. There is ME, conduct local and international sugar market intelligence and advise stakeholders accordingly. Then MF, establish linkages with various government agencies and research institutions to enhance quality assurance and research. Then the justification of clause 4.
Just move your class justification. Only to.
The justification clause 4 is the amendment 6 to enhance the functions of the board and to enhance monitoring and compliance to enhance linkages with other stakeholders in the sugar sector,
Very well. Honourable members, I propose a question, which is that clause 4 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. The mood of the House is that I put the question. Members, I put the question. That is clause 4 be amended as is proposed by the chair. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? And as many as of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next.
Clause 5.
I propose a question which is that clause 5 be part of the bill. Proposed amendment by the chairperson, now that you know how to do it. Give the chair the mic.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I beg to move the proposals as it is on the order paper, clause 5, that clause 5 of the bill be amended, A, in sub-clause 1, by deleting by deleting paragraph B and substituting therefore the following new paragraph. B, yes.
Honorable Millie.
Thank you, Chair.
Chair, you might-
request the chairman to sit.
Yeah, Chairman, just
That
resume
is
your
the
seat.
procedure of the House.
Yes. Honorable Mili.
Chair is my good friend. Chair, I just wanted to request to enable us move faster, because before we didn't know where the clauses were, but now that we found the clauses, there's no need to read for us clause by clause like we are nursery school kids. Just give us the justifications.
Thank you.
We already have the clause 5. We can see what it is about. Give us the justifications. For those
Very
who
well,
are not able
Honorable
to
Mili.
get it, just go online. You read Kenya National Assembly order paper. At the end of the order paper, it's there.
Millie, you've made your point, but we can be here till tomorrow to follow the procedure, Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Let the chair settle. Please allow me, give the chair time to settle. And for clarity, yeah, Honorable Chair, when you move an amendment, you must just justify it for the members to understand. And for those who do not understand, you can still clarify. Yeah, not everybody who could understand.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that.
Clause 5. Thank you, Honorable Millie.
So I beg to move clause 5 as it is on the order paper. Then we go to the justification. Justification of clause 5. It is important to have key stakeholders in the board. New paragraph B seeks to include representative of growers from each catchment areas as members of the board. New paragraph C seeks to include a representative of the millers from each catchment area. Thank you.
Very well, members, I propose a question, which is that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the chair. The member for Kiminini, Honorable Chris Amalo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, Committee of the whole House is very critical. This is where legislation takes place. And I want to differ with the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. It does not harm if the chairman, the way he was explaining, to highlight on an issue. So the issue of just saying as per the order paper at times needs some clarity. And the chair was doing very well for purposes of bringing everybody on board. Not all members have had maybe an opportunity to go through online, Madam Chair. So the chair was doing very well. Let him continue highlighting on whatever the amendment is and continue giving the justification. And on that matter, Madam Chair, I support the chair what has said in terms of justification, because we have different segments and it must have a full representation. So I support.
You support. Very well, let me give you one more member, the member for Mumias East, Honorable Ashiali Jomo. Ashiali Jomo is not interested in speak to this. I give it to Koyi Lucas Sirisia.
Now I'm on. Madam Speaker, I had not received the mic. Madam Speaker, I just wanted to comment that this is a house of records. And these records, some are physical, some are unanswered. Therefore, as the chair was going through, I think I will need to support that, Madam Speaker, because then Hansard will bear as witness on the process of this bill.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well, members, allow me to put the question, which is that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Will as many as of this been say aye? Aye. And as many as of the say nay? The ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 6, clause 7, clause 8, and 9.
Members, I propose a question which is clause 6, 7, 8, and 9 be part of the bill. We have no amendments to those clauses, and I therefore put the question which is clause 6, 7, 8, and 9 be part of the bill. As many as of the people say aye, and as many as the people say nay, the ayes have it.
Clause 10.
I propose a question which is clause 10 be part of the bill. We have an amendment by the chairperson.
Thank you, Chair.
You need to highlight your proposed amendments and the
Thank you. I
implication
beg
of the same.
to move the proposal as it is on the order paper, clause 10. Do I go to justifications direct? Oh, thank you. Justification. Justification for the amendment is to provide for
Ja-
quality of the members of the
Order,
board.
Chairperson, just propose the question as it is in the order paper. As it is
Okay.
in the order paper.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Clause 4, I propose for proposal
We are on clause 10, not for record.
for record purposes. Sorry for that. We are in
Yes.
clause 10. I beg to propose to move clause 4 as it is in the order paper.
Clause 10, Chair.
Clause 10 as it is in the order paper. I don't know why my head is going there. That clause 10 be amended by deleting subclause 2 and substituting, therefore, the following new subclauses. 2, a person shall be qualified for appointment under the section of the person, under this section of the person, if the person holds a relevant degree from the university recognized in Kenya, B, has at least 10 years knowledge and experience from a relevant field, C, has at least 5 years experience in the position of senior management, and D, meets the provision of Chapter 6 of the Constitution. Justification is to provide for qualification of board members, the board.
Very well, honourable members, I propose that clause 10 be amended as proposed by the chair. Honourable Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I think that is a good provision that requires that we have people with expertise and that at least 5 of those are in senior management positions. But Chair, I want to insist that I've been here a long time. This is not the way to go at the Committee of the Whole House. If we have amendments that go to 40 pages and it reads every single line, we'd be here for 40 years. Madam Speaker, all he needs to do is
the procedure, I must correct you. Let the members be heard. Honourable Millie Odhiambo, you are senior in your standing orders very well. Let the member be heard for justification of the members. It's a very important stage of the committee. We are making a law, and every member, as they say a yes or a no, they must be aware of what they are just putting it. Let me have the member for Enebes.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing me to contribute to this amendment to clause 10. I think the amendment by the member is a good amendment, considering the number of years, 5 years experience in a person for senior management position, and then holds a relevant degree. Honorable Chair, I know the member has no experience in this stage. So I think it will be good for us to take the chair slowly so that all of us can be on board. So I think we'll ask our colleague, our senior colleague, Honorable Millie, to be a little bit patient. But where he's able to say, as per the order paper, I would also want the chair, because all of us are able to read so that we can also move with the speed. Let's accommodate each other. Thank you. Thank you.
Very well, from where I sit, please allow me give the chair some time to just plan himself. He's doing very well. We are doing very well as far as process is concerned and the procedures of the House, as far as our standing orders are concerned. Chair, please, you are protected.
Thank you.
We are making law here, and this is a very critical stage. I know Honorable Millie Odhiambo wants us to move very fast, being a senior member of this House. So I put the question. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Chair.
The Honorable member for, and you are not on intervention. Let me have the Honorable member for Kandui.
Chair, thank you very much. I have listened to the observations, contribution by members in respect of the manner in which the Honorable Chair for Agriculture is presenting his amendments. And I think it is important for us to recognize the fact that this whole committee of the House, committee of the whole House, usually this is the time when every clause, every part of the legislation is scrutinized. It's, in other words, it's time for scrutiny of everything. So let's not hurry. I am the sponsor of this bill, Madam Chair, and I would like you to recognize that. When I put intervention, I need to get a chance. And let's allow the chair to take members through slowly. I agree with you, Madam Chair, so that everybody is on board and we don't make mistakes, Chair. We make good law.
Very well.
I want to confirm that I support this proposed amendment. Thank you.
Very well, honourable members. With that, having the sponsor of the bill, Honourable Millie, not on record, had conceded that we move. So I put the question, members, and thank you, Honourable Millie, for. I put the question, which is that clause 10 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? And as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next clause. But with that, even before the next clause, please allow me give the chair good time to do his business. He's the chair for agriculture. Thank you, Chair. Clause 10.
Clause 11, 12, and 13.
Very well. Members, I propose the question with the clause 11, 12, and 13 be amended as proposed in the bill. We have no amendments to the clause, so I put the question, which is that clauses 11, 12, and 13 be parts of the bill. As many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as of the opinion say nay, the ayes have it.
Clause 14.
I propose the question, which is clause 14, be part of the bill. Chair, please move the amendment to the clause 14.
I beg to propose the amendments as it is on the order paper, clause 14. Huh? Am I correct? Yes.
Yeah, you're on clause 14,
Yeah.
Chair.
That clause 14 be amended, A, in subclause 1, by inserting the words upon recommendation by the relevant county government immediately after the words board. B, by deleting subclause 2 and substituting therefore the following new subclauses. 2, a person who contravenes the provision of subsection 1 or acts in contravention of the condition of the licensing granted under this act commits an offense and shall be liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 3 times the domestic value of the sugar in respect of which the offense is committed, or to a fine not exceeding 10 million shillings, whichever is higher, or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 5 years, or for both. Now, the explanation or the justification. Amendment to subclause 1 is to provide for the incorporation of the county governments to play in a role of making recommendations to the board with regard to licensing of millers. New subclause 2 is to provide a penalty for the person who carries out milling business without a license. Thank you.
Members, I propose the question with that clause 14 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. The member for Funyula. Member for Funyula.
Thank you, Chair. Just to put on record, we are here because of a process of winnowing, and most of the issues had actually been thrashed by those who are interested in making amendments. Honorable Chair, it's important that we incorporate the county governments because agriculture is a devolved function, and some aspect of the business of production and sale of sugarcane is a devolved function because some aspect of trade is a devolved function. So I support the amendment.
Very well.